So let's wrap up this module on financial modeling by looking at a common function used in business, which is the aggregate function. In layman's terms, aggregate means you're going to do calculations on a bunch of numbers, which results in a single answer. Now, if we shift our focus to Excel's aggregate function, there's a lot the function can do, but we'll look at it from a very high level. The reason we say this is because when you start to use Excel's aggregate function, it allows you to get access or tap into 19 other functions or sub-functions, if you will. So you can kind of make the case it's like a 19 for 1. Yikes. So for those reasons alone, let's keep it very simple. Another big box office draw with the aggregate function is it allows you to ignore hidden rows, you can ignore errors in your cells, and you can also filter records, which is really cool. So let's see this in action. Here we have our customer sources. Here we have our sales. Also take note that we have an error in our data, and I'll turn the filter on for demo purposes. To get us started, let's try and take a standard average and see what we get. So we'll type out equal, average, open parentheses, select our range, and it should come back and yell at us because of the error message. There we go. That looks about right. And now let's take the aggregate function for a test drive. Believe it or not, it's actually easier to type out the function because Excel will walk you through step by step, prompting you along the way for the information it needs. Here we go. We'll type out equal, aggregate, open parentheses. And the first thing Excel wants to know is what type of calculation we want to do. In this case, we'll choose average. And here we have a choice. We could either double click on the average or type the number 1 because it corresponds with the average calculation and type a comma. I'll choose to double click just because it's easier and follow that with a comma. Next, Excel is going to ask you what type of things you want to ignore. Now, clearly in real life, you'll need to take a moment and read this list. Here, we'll go with the option of 3 because choosing 3 will allow us to ignore hidden rows, error values, nested subtotals, and all that other fun stuff. Type a comma. And last thing we have to do is select our chunk of cells, of which we'll do, then press enter, and oh my gosh, right there it is. And just for fun, let's do a little filtering so you can see that in action. All right, and that will do it for the overview of the aggregate function. As mentioned earlier, we recommend that you take the time to study the various combinations and permutations that you can do with the aggregate function. That said, that brings us to the conclusion of this module, and we'll see you next time.